Hi everyone, I'm Pete Licata, 2013 World Barista Champion and Research and Development at Veneziano Coffee Roasters here in Melbourne. Today I'm going to show you my favorite Aeropress recipe, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about the device itself and some tips and tricks on how to do it. So first of all, if you're not familiar with an Aeropress, this is an Aeropress. It goes together, it has a little plunger that goes inside of the main chamber, pushes the coffee and the water through a filter at the end. This is really honestly one of the easiest, most kind of simple ways to make coffee. It's also lightweight, easy to travel with. People take it all over the world with them. People even make it on airplanes, which takes some effort, but can be done. I find it to be really good. So to tell you a little bit, I'm going to be using the Aeropress, the way that the designer, the inventor of the Aeropress actually recommends to use it, which is to place the filter on the bottom, coffee in the top, water on top, and just push it straight through. Some people use it in a different way, which is sort of inverted and it steeps for longer and some things like that. We're going to make it really easy. This is quick, fast, repeatable, makes super tasty coffee. So a little bit more. Today we're using our Colombia Diaphonor Ruiz, fantastic producer. We always have new super tasty micro lots at Veneziano. This one is really fruity and I think it expresses really well as a filter coffee like this anyway. My recipe is 15 grams of coffee. This is going to be ground for a medium to fine grind. The grind, I want it to be a little finer than a standard filter grind size because we're going to extract very quickly and we have the opportunity to push and force the water through those coffee grinds a little more quickly. So the finer grind actually helps here to get a bit more flavor in the time they're going to use. That way we don't have to brew it for as long either. 15 grams of coffee, ground medium fine, 250 mils of water, or 250 grams of water if you're measuring it with a scale. I'll show you how to gauge this on the Aeropress as well once we get to it. And it's going to take about a minute of sort of water contact time before we really start pushing down the brew, and then about a minute 20 total time. Really fast brew, like I say, super easy. So to start, we're going to take our little filter holder here, a little piece of plastic. I'm going to put it into some sort of container, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to rinse it. I'm trying to make sure that there is no paper flavor getting into my brew. Not everybody does this. They don't necessarily feel that it's necessary, and that's fine. But it's very easy to do. So you can either do this in the sink with cold water. I'm going to use a splash of my hot water that I'm going to use to brew with, just a tiny bit. And what you'll see is that you always end up getting these little bubbles in the filter, and that's very normal. But don't be afraid, just push it down so it's nice and flat. Right? There we go, ready to go. Towel is always nice, dry off any extra water. We're going to place that onto the Aeropress brewer so that it's nice and snug, and this is going to sit right on top of my cup. We're going to brew straight into a cup. We don't need a decanter, we don't need anything else. Biggest thing to remember, since we're using 250 mils of water, make sure that that cup is at least 250 mess on your hands, okay? So, start off, I have my coffee already ground here. If you don't have a normal electric grinder at home, you can always use a hand grinder as well. This does take a bit more time to make sure that it gets ground, but it's a cheap and simple option, and it also travels with you as well. So, pre-ground coffee, 15 grams in my device. Put it in there. Now we're going to shake that nice and flat, and I'm going to tear that off. So I'm back at 0 on my scale if I'm using a scale, and my water is going to be about normal brewing temperature. 93 degrees is what I have it set at, and I find that to be actually really good for using the Aeropress in this manner. Because we're still doing sort of a pour through method. There is liquid that's going to drip through those coffee grinds as I'm going. But to get started, we're going to start our timer And we're just going to start slowly but carefully pouring our 250 mils of water into the brewer, right? And as you can see, there's going to be a little bit of water, or a little bit of liquid that's going to escape the bottom. Now, I told you how to gauge this for 250 mils. You should be getting very close, right around that number 4 on the brewer, 250 mils. And right there, yep. Now, I also put the plunger in at this point, just far enough in that it creates a bit of a seal, and that actually helps to prevent excess liquid from escaping out of the brewer, right? You want to keep that liquid and the coffee grinds together for as long as you can. Now, I have my scale here. I'll turn it so you can see it. We're at 47 seconds. I'm going to give that another 10, 11 seconds now before I start pushing down. I took this off of the scale so that we don't put pressure on the scale, because scales will break if we put too much pressure on them. We're at a minute now, so I'm just going to take a little bit, simple pressure, not too much. You don't have to push too hard. If you have to push really hard, that usually means that your grind is way too fine. Simple pressure, getting it down there. We're going to try to finish at about a minute and 20, maybe just slightly over, but you see there's a little air pocket in there, and that's just going to push through the rest of the coffee grinds and finish my extraction off. And it goes really fast once we get to that point. So we hit a minute and a half. That's actually really good. Take it off, let any drips drain off. If you have a little device to put it into, that works really well. Coffee is finished. Look at that. Super easy, ready to go. Put a splash of milk in there if you don't like super, flavorful black coffee, and you're fine. Like I say, fast and easy to make. It's actually really hot right now, so I'm going to be careful. But it tastes great. Another great thing about this brewer is that it's really easy to clean up too. And I'll actually show you how to do that real quick. So we have our spent coffee, right? We've pushed it all the way through. It's nice and snug. There's no more real liquid in there. At this point, we can just take that filter holder off. It actually comes out really clean, right? Just a rinse under the sink, and it's probably fine. If you got a lot of oils on there, you can always wash it with a little bit of mild soap. Mild soap for any of this stuff, because you don't want strong aromas to sit in your next cup of coffee. But all you do is just take it and you just push it through, and it's just going to shoot out. And you just put that over your trash can as you push it through, and it just pops out into the trash. There's a little bit of residue on that, and this is just a simple rinse under the sink. Once again, just a little bit of mild soap, soapy water will clean that up as well. Take it apart. I think you can even put it through the dishwasher, to be perfectly honest. It's very simple to do. But that's it. Aeropress, super fast, super easy, super tasty. You can check out our learning materials. You can sign up for online classes on the Veneziano website, venezianocoffee.com.au. Yeah, we have lots of opportunities to do lots of things, but in general, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you come back for another one.